Hello everybody, my name is Dangerous, and this is going to be episode number 9 of my Road to Perfection for Gears of War 3. As requested from episode number 4 and all the private messages, well not all, one private message, I give you guys my stats right at the end of it, or at the beginning of this episode. For you guys, it was a 2.2 KDR, which I think is pretty good, and a 7.0 match win-loss ratio, which I think also is pretty good. Even though I've only played 8 games, I mean, of course my win-loss is going to be pretty good, but still, for my first time playing Gears or whatever, I think I'm doing just outstanding, in my own opinion. But other than that, I want to thank the people that have subscribed. I want to thank the people that have liked my videos, and I want to thank the people that have been leaving me comments. Very, very polite guys. Thank you for that, and I appreciate it, and you guys have no idea how much I appreciate it, this being something new. But anybody that watches these, if you guys want to play, you let me know. We can do quick matches if you want to do quick matches. It doesn't really matter to me, guys. We can play whatever you guys want to. If you guys don't want to play deathmatch, then that's fine. I'm down for whatever. But I want 2 different things from this video that you guys should know about, basically. And one you've already seen is the transitions between deaths. The video was way too long, and I came up with this idea to cut out the death scenes, kind of like I did in a previous episode. But guys, remember that right there. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But basically, I put transitions in between all the death scenes. It was a little bit more work, but I thought it flows really nicely, even though I only have 1 transition, but I think the transitions really well. So it's nothing just amazing and eye-popping, but it's pretty simple, and I like it. That's what counts. And other than that, I am going to basically, sorry, I had a text right there, guys. I'm ADD and I just paid attention to my phone and lost track of words. But other than that, that is one thing that's different. The second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try something completely different for you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit less about the gameplay and a little bit more about some topics, not necessarily tips and tricks. Right there, please guys, remember that also. I had you remember the bounce to save my teammate, and then there a bounce on that guy. Those are coming up in the next topic that I'm about to speak of. And what that topic's going to be is wall bouncing, the different forms of wall bouncing. I know you guys think that's kind of weird sounding, but hear it out. The different forms of wall bouncing, and when wall bouncing is effective the most, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong, seeing that I am a new player. I probably am wrong, but this is what have been more effective for me. Okay, and we'll start it off with the 2 different forms. We're going to go with what I like to call, my bouncing style is more of an evasive bouncing. I am not a very aggressive bouncer. That sounds funny, like I'm some club guy and I'm throwing people. But no, I'm not a very aggressive bouncer. I'm the kind of guy that uses it more as a defensive technique, and that is how I feel it to be more effective. But my 2 forms of wall bouncing that I use, and what I call them when asked about them, are evasive bouncing, being offensive and defensive. So evasive bouncing still being highly defensive, evasive is very defensive, and being offensive and defensive. So basically, sorry for repeating that, but I feel it needed to be repeated one more time. But basically, the first one that I had you guys remember was me getting the guy around my teammate. And that is a very, very offensive bounce, in my opinion. That was a must-do bounce, and that was the only time I think of a must-do bounce, basically. But let's take some time to note what I did on that one. I'll paint the picture for you guys so you don't have to go back. Basically, I had a teammate right outside of nades. I had 3 guys with me. But I had one that the dude was gunning for, basically. And I noticed a guy coming up from the opposing team and wanting to just body my teammate. Okay, my teammate's standing right in front of me, probably about 3 feet, and what I do is I bounce to the right, so I have that right-hand advantage. Very key, guys, very key. Never bounce left if you have the opportunity and you want to get a one-shot. Bouncing left is just harder to do the one-shot kill. But basically, I bounced right and bodied the guy for a clutch save on my teammate. That is my offensive evasive bounce. Now the torque bow guy that I had you guys remember, the one that was on the stairs here, on this side or whatever, on the stairs, that was a defensive evasive bounce. And the reason for that being defensive is I was getting out of the way of something, but it was not my teammate. So yes, it was evasive, but it was, you know, it was where I was in danger. The other bounce, I wasn't in danger of my teammate, but I evaded my teammate. If that makes sense for you guys. Basically, the whole defensive thing is if like that guy's got the torque bow and he charges it up and you know when it's about to be done, if you bounce and cause him to jerk, there's a chance of him missing that. That makes sense to you guys. So very defensive bounce. You just make that bounce and then you go in for the body. And then the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about is you guys had a bunch of clips that you guys wanted in like a little montage thing from me, basically, a little noob-tage. So I am going to give you guys that noob-tage eventually. It'll probably, here in the next 3 weeks, I will start the editing. I am a terrible editor, as you guys can tell. I use the same transition, but you know, whatever. I don't really care. I don't have all that fancy intro stuff and crap, so you know, whatever. But I will give you guys some footage. I will edit it. It might not be great, but it'll work out. I'm sure it'll look just perfect, in my opinion, because it'll be my stuff, so I don't really matter about that whole thing. But no, you guys please give me some, you know, comments about this new style, if you guys want me talking more about the gameplay, or if you guys want me talking more about tips and stuff that are incorporated into the gameplay, and a little bit about the gameplay. That makes sense to you guys. And let me know if you guys like the transitions in between the deaths. I can do that. It takes a little bit longer. And it took me about 30 minutes because this video is so long, 30 minutes longer. But other than that, I'm willing to do it. I thought it flowed really well. And, you know, all in all, it seemed to have worked out pretty well. I sat there and stared at it for a little bit and wanted to figure out how I wanted to do it, because at first I just had the scenes pulling up. You know, when it fades, I had the scene starting when it faded, so that was kind of the transition. But then I thought just using the intro transition would make it pull together really nicely, and I feel it did. Right there, guys, a key point right there is, yes, I could have picked that weapon up, and you know what, I would have had torque bow, like I wanted torque bow. But the fact of the matter is, that was a 1v1, and I ended up taking my guy out, and then my teammate was also having a 1v1, and you guys, you got to push that to a 2v1. You just have to. It causes so many people to mess up because just there being one more person there, and it's just being a good team player. But other than that, guys, I'm liking the girls, you know. I like the way that they play, the way that they feel, I guess. And I know what you guys are thinking, yeah, so do you, but anyways, all perverted topics away. But I don't think it's a box difference or anything like that. I think it's just a mental thing still, and I'm going to keep repeating that until you guys stop asking me, basically. Or I feel it actually is a magic box difference. But one thing I really want to talk about with you guys is the whole trading weapons feature. Really good idea. I like it. Personally, it can be used as a strategy in a competitive sense. If you have a teammate on your team that you know is really good with the sniper, or, I mean, really good with the boom shot, who's not really good with the boom shot, but, you know, good with the torque bow and stuff like that, and he is not first, especially in maps like Azura. If you're not first with that sniper, you'll get your head popped. If you were like the third guy wanting to pick it up because your team knows you're good at it. But instead now, the first person can pick that weapon up and then swap it with the, you know, the person you guys wanted. And that does two things. One, the team thinks the other guy has the actual weapon because it shows his name. And you never know, they might know what he looks like and not know what you look like, and, you know, stuff like that. So it gives you the surprise factor, and two, it saves you a death from your team. In execution, I mean, it takes you like, what, 10 seconds to get to that sniper on Azura? In execution, if you get there and that dude is there in 10 seconds and you're there in, you know, 12 or 13 or even 11 and you lose your, you know, you die, that's a pretty big setback, guys. That's now a 5-on-4, or if it's playing MLG, that's now a 4-on-4 or 4-on-3. I mean, I can't do math, you know, screw it. But now, that's kind of a very good topic. But do not be annoying like the dude did in here, and do not keep wanting to trade the weapon. If you don't want to, if the person doesn't want to trade, just, you know, whatever. Don't try and race the dude that's ahead of you to the thing when he's obviously going to beat you. Also, that is not helping your team, that is hurting your team more because you could have a better position. Anyways, as you guys see, 20-9, a lot better than my other games. But you guys could say I did everything. I did have, you know, half of the 40 kills for the win. So that's pretty big. But other than that, this is my episode number 9 for my series Road to Perfection for Gears of War 3. Like, rate, and comment, and subscribe, please, and I will see you guys in episode 10 coming soon.